All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Just My Thoughts. So, this one is probably going to be a little more serious. I want to talk about associations. The people that we associate ourselves with, the people that we back, we support, we promote. So, I'm sure all of you have heard the expression, birds of a feather flock together, meaning that people that have a shared interest, things in common, shared ideology, belief system, value system, you tend to gravitate towards those people and hang out with them. If you look at your circle of friends, the people that you consider your friends, I would venture to say that there are several things, not just one thing, several things that you have in common, several interests that you share with those people that you consider your friends. There's a commonality there. So you associate yourself with them. So those birds of a feather are flocking together. When we think about the people that we support, whether it's politicians or public figures or so on and so forth, there is something about their message that resonates with us, that we associate to ourselves and our lives, our belief system, whether it's based on our religion, our values and principles from our upbringing, our, economic principles, how we want to live our lives as far as spending or not spending, but there's something that they say that resonates with us, that we subscribe to. And it's this association that I want to dive into. When you support someone's message, when you promote someone's message, you're giving value to it. And you're saying that you agree with it. And thus you agree with them and you support them. The question is, how much is okay before you become associated with that person or guilty by your association with that person? Justice, what in the world are you talking about? Let's say I have a friend and my friend, is a crook. He's a criminal. He steals things. He, beats people up. He's been to jail a couple of times, so on and so forth. You looking at me, knowing my association to this person, it would be reasonable for you to assume that I too engage in those activities. Because, hey, you're associated with this known criminal. I'm going to assume that you do the same thing. So I'm going to distance myself from justice because justice hangs out with known criminals. So justice is probably a criminal. But I'm not a criminal. This is my friend, and we go way back. We grew up together. He's the criminal. I'm not a criminal. I don't agree with, beating up old ladies and stealing and lying and all these other things. I don't agree with those things. That's him, not me. So how much of my principles and my values can be sacrificed to maintain an association with this person without me becoming guilty by association? Or does the fact that I maintain that friendship, knowing the things that this friend does are wrong, my excusing those wrong behaviors, does that still make me guilty by association? When we look at people in the public eye that say terrible things, that do terrible things, and we still support them, we still back them, we still contribute to them, we still donate to them, we still buy their books and buy their t-shirts and buy their products and listen to them on the radio and watch them on TV and so on and so forth. We give our support to these people knowing the bad things that they've done and the bad things that they've said. How much of our principles can we sacrifice in support of this person before we become guilty by association, before others can look at us and say, you must feel the same way as this person? When someone says a bunch of hateful things, a bunch of racist things, a bunch of xenophobic things, bigoted things, not just once, but consistently. They make this a part of their brand, a part of who they are. This is my message. My message is of hate. My message is of fear. My message is of exclusion. Conspiracy. That anytime someone challenges the nastiness, they're not really challenging the nastiness. They're challenging you as a person, as an individual. So you don't have to take ownership of the nasty things that you say and the nasty things that you do. When you support that kind of message, isn't it fair for someone to assume that you agree with that message? That you agree with that person? Oh, I support this person, but not that part of the message that they're saying. I don't support. I'm not a bigot. I'm not a racist. I'm not a xenophobe, but I support this person. Well, that is this person. This is their message. This has been their message. This has been what they've been promoting for years and years and years and years. And you're supporting this person. So you're sacrificing your principles and your values to back this person. At some point, you become guilty by association. Because if I go and kill someone, and you know I killed someone, but you still stand by me, you're saying that you're okay with murder. Do I want to be associated with someone who's okay with someone going out and killing someone? No. If I say that I'm an honest person and I don't steal from people, but I have friends that I know are thieves and go out and steal people, then does the fact that I don't steal myself make me a better person? No, I'm saying that I'm okay with people stealing from people because I still associate myself with people that I know are doing terrible things. So at what point do I become guilty by association? Now, the reason why I'm making this is because an evil, racist, xenophobic, bigoted bastard just died recently. And there are many who want to celebrate him. There are many that says that he deserves honor and recognition. This terrible person spent 30 plus years promoting hatred, promoting racism. He talked about blacks. He talked about women. He talked about gays. He talked about handicapped. He talked about all kinds of different people. And his message was just nasty. And he admitted on television that it was for the money. His primary reason for being so nasty and unpredictable was to keep attention. And he amassed a 15 plus million, people following. People tuned in every week to hear him. They were driving to work, listening to this evil bastard on the radio. There were some that admitted, oh, I grew up listening to this guy. His message resonated in my household. There was a politician who just got disowned by his family. And they referenced this radio personality. You have disappointed this guy. We are disassociating ourselves from you, our blood relative, because you decided that an insurrection was not okay. You decided to hold the person, Donald Trump, accountable by voting to impeach him. And you have disappointed this radio personality. That's how much power and influence this person had. And so when he died, these people wanted to celebrate him and his hatred and his racism. And so my question is for those people who say, I'm not racist, I'm not a bigot, I'm not a xenophobe. How much of your values that you say are the antithesis of his ideology do you get to sacrifice before I have to associate you with him and say that the things that he said and the things that he subscribed to, you also subscribe to because of your support of him? This is his message. This was the things that he spoke about on a regular basis. This is who he was. This embodies him. Hatred embodies him. What part of him are you trying to celebrate? What minute, small part of him are you trying to celebrate? Oh, well, he gave to charity. I can shoot somebody in the head and go on a killing spree and then give $10 to a homeless guy on the street. Does that make me a person to be celebrated? I can steal tens of millions of dollars from regular people, and then, I supported, this charity over here. I gave $100,000 to this charity over here. Does that make me a person to be celebrated? No. Because the overarching part of my character has been evil. So I may not have committed the act myself, but the fact that I know that it was committed and I still support the person who commits it makes me still a person that shouldn't be associated with. For anyone who truly believes that those were bad things. Because if my friend continues to go out and steal and steal and steal and steal and steal and steal, I'm saying it's okay to steal. So then one day, you might get your purse stolen from me. Because I've accepted it for so long, so hey, I might try it myself. So those of us that say we have principles, we have values, we have morals, those are things that define us. They define our character. I don't like hurting people. Okay, so I'm not going to steal from them. I'm not going to lie to them. I'm not going to say nasty things to them. Those are things that I live by. That defines me as a person. So I'm not going to associate myself with people that do those things that go against my principles. So these people that are saying we need to honor this evil bastard, but then on the other side say that I don't agree with those evil, nasty things that he said on a regular basis. I don't agree with his character and who he was as a person. But this little part of him resonated with me. He was pro Second Amendment. He was anti-abortion. Those two things I agree with. And those two things are more important than his racism, more important than his xenophobia, more important than his bigotry, more important than his hate speech, more important than his fear-mongering. So I'm willing to sacrifice my principles for those two things. I think it's fair to say that you're guilty by association. So I'm going to end this, It's, like I said, these are just my thoughts regarding the people that we support in public positions, whether they're politicians or like this dead bastard. And I'm intentionally not saying his name. The people that we support in public positions say a lot about us. And we can say that, okay, these are my principles and I would never do that and I would never say that and I wouldn't da-da-da. You can say all that stuff. But at some point, when I look at the people that you stand with and you look at the people that I stand with and you look at the people that we each other support, at some point, I have to assume that you do agree with what this person is saying, that you do agree with how this person operates and lives their life. And at some point, you've sacrificed enough of your principles and you therefore become guilty by association. That's just my thought. If you know who I'm talking about, feel free. We can have that conversation. We can engage in that conversation in the comments. And if you made it to the end, I appreciate you watching. I know this one was a little heavy, but I had to get that off my chest because I just saw on Facebook the other day that people are trying to bestow the highest honors on this guy. And Trump already gave him the highest civilian honor by giving him the Medal of Freedom, which was a spit in the face of everyone else that's received that honor. So Trump is already subscribed to this guy's ideology. And now there are other political figures and public figures who say he needs to be honored with the flags being flown at half staff, which is an honor reserved for the best of America. And this guy represented the worst. He was a terrible individual, a horrible human being. And I'm not shedding any tears over his death. Some may say that's harsh. I don't care. He was a terrible person. And so I just wanted to make this video because of that. Let me know your thoughts. Stay tuned for another video. And remember, whatever you do, don't be a dirtbag. Do it justice.